Alright, I was searching on Facebook Marketplace and I came across this listing right here. Pretty darn good deal. It's a 2001 Arctic 300 4x4 and the listing was posted a couple minutes ago for 500 bucks. And I was like, wow, that's a really good deal for that thing. And then I read the description and it was even better. Needs carburetor work, brand new back tires, ran good last year, been sitting since. The fuel leaks out of the bottom of the carb, got a newer ATV now, so don't need to keep this one around. First 500 bucks takes it. And I was like, wow, this is too good to be true. So then I go down and see the seller information, and I see he has a 3.9. So I click on the reviews, and it all makes sense. Starts arguments when asking for prices on items they don't post prices on. Scam, tried to make me pay Cash App. I wish there was a minus counter. Does not return phone calls. When he does call you, he can't talk now, but will call you this week to set up an appointment. Crickets chirping, still waiting for the return call. Scammers is written all over this. Property cleans like crap too. No thank you. Unwilling to answer questions. Took unreasonable time to respond. Wasn't really interested in not scamming people. And then they kept on going. So, yeah. It looks like it might be a scam. But we're still going to go try to pick it up and see how bad this thing is. I am interested to see if it actually was running last year. And we're going to try to go take the camera along and film this. See what happens. Alright, let's head out. Let's see if we get scammed on this thing. Well, we're on our way. So far the guy's been responding just fine. Seems pretty nice. I ask questions, he answers, so I don't know. Maybe it's not a scam. We'll see when we get there. Well, I can tell you one thing. It needs more than a carb clean. Oh, that was definitely a scam. There's no way that thing ever ran last year. Wait until you guys see this thing. It is insane. Oh, the guy was pretty nice, but he was lying through his teeth. I can tell when people lie, and that guy was lying. But at the end of the day, he did give me a pretty good deal. I got it for 300 bucks instead of the 500. So we got a pretty good deal, but she is probably one of the roughest four-wheelers I've ever seen in my life. It is bad. We'll see how bad this thing is. The guy had like 5 other four-wheelers sitting in his yard, all broken apart, rusting away. Oh, yeah. Look at this piece of junk. Holy cow. A little rougher than what the pictures look like. So we are going to continue this tomorrow morning. Well, it's the next morning, and yeah, this thing didn't get any better looking. Still looks like a piece of junk. So the seat's completely ripped up. Tires are going flat. Both front tires are going flat. CV axles are loose. That one's not too bad. Not sure what this thing is right here. That's missing. Looks like it had a plow on here at one point. Bunch of holes in the plastic. Plastic's broken here. Plastic's broken here. It's completely rusted out. CV axle boot is ripped there. That one's not too bad in the back. Battery is falling out of it. I'm surprised there's a battery in it. Let's see what happens when you turn the key. Nothing at all. Thing's got 4,499 miles. Front brake doesn't work at all. really squishy, so that's not doing anything. Rear brake is locked up completely, so that's obviously not doing anything. I mean, it is beyond rough. And the guy, the stories he came up with were pretty funny. He's like, yeah, my kids were driving this last year, started leaking gas, so we parked it. And he's like, now it won't start. He's like, we put all new gas lines on, new starter. And then he's like, yeah, and then actually this thing had a brand new top end rebuild. And then he was like, what's the thing you call inside the engine that rotates? I said, the crank. He's like, yeah, a brand new crank in here as well. And he kept on adding all these parts that he put on. He's like, brand new back tires. He's like, I've got a lot of money into this thing. And I was like, yeah, this was my dad's machine. He bought it new when it first came out. So it was just like lie after lie after lie. He just kept on going and going and going. So I just let him talk, and I was like, well, I'll offer you $300. And he came back at $350. I was like, I can't do $350. I'm being generous at the $300. He's like, well, if you can load it by yourself, you can have it for $3. I guess he had like slip discs in his back, and he was on a bunch of pain medication, and I don't know, it was a whole thing. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get this one running and driving today. I have little hope, but we'll see what happens. It does pull over. Luckily I found the pull cord back here, and it does pull over. It feels like it has compression. So let's get this thing off the trailer, and we'll see how bad this thing is today. It is beyond rough. Look at this playing the wheel. There's like 2-inch play back and forth. Let's see about the rear. Oh yeah, good inch of play. That's always good. Alright, a little walk around of this thing. So the tires actually look pretty decent in the back. Maybe he wasn't lying about those. But check out all the rust everywhere. I mean, it is caked full of rust. Hasn't been washed probably ever. Racks are all rusty. Like I said, there's a ton of wheel play. Well, let's start going through this machine. So first thing we're going to do is check the gas tank, see if there's any gas in here. It looks like there might be a little bit. There's a little bit in there. You can see if that petcock works. Get the seat off first. That's where the owner's manual goes. That is missing. Bunch of water in the seat. This thing probably sat outside most of its life. Alright, air box is right there. I'm afraid to look in that. It's gotta be bad. Solenoid sitting right there. I'm guessing that probably doesn't work. It looks like it was taken off at one point. Looks like they probably tried to jump the solenoid. He said there's a new starter in it, so we'll see. But there is pull start for backup right there. And supposedly there's a new bottom end and a top end in it, so we shouldn't have any problems with those. Let's see where the petcock is on this thing. Looks like gas line is not connected. Oh, there it is right there. There's the petcock. Let's see if anything comes out. It's missing the cap. Alright, there it is. That was found in the bottom of this thing. So right through there, I'm gonna try to get this little knob hooked up. Oh, gas is coming out. Petcock's working. No way. Butter. Alright, let's see what's in the gas tank. Good gas flow coming out. Let's see what that gas looks like. There's a lot of gas in there. So it's not leaking from the petcock. He said he was either leaking from the petcock or the carb. I don't see any water in the gas. So petcock definitely works. It doesn't look like it's leaking from the petcock. So we are gonna go on to the air box and see what's in there. So there's no screws holding that on. Ooh, that looks pretty rough in there. Take that out. Oh yeah, oh, there's a drill bit. Interesting. Oh boy. Yeah, doesn't look too great in the airbox. We're gonna vacuum that out. Alright, before we hook up a battery to it, let's check the fuses. There's a little cap we have to take off here. Let's see if there's any broken fuses in it. So it looks like the main one's going to be right here. It's a 10 amp for the ignition. Then there's a 10 amp for the lights, 10 amp for the accessories, and then 10 amp for the spare. So let's see what's going on. It's missing the spare. Has the other three. Quick check them. Take our multimeter, and if we hear a beep, we should be good. All those seem good. We'll inspect this one. This is the main one for the ignition. Yeah, doesn't look bad. So we'll put that back in. So fuses check out. All right. All right, let's try to find where the oil goes on this thing. I think the transmission and engine are one big piece on this machine. Oh, there's the window down there. Let's take a peek, see if there's anything in there. Oh yeah, it looks like it's filled up. Looks really black though. So I think the fill is in the back of this machine. Let's take a dipstick and see what that oil looks like. You can see right there. It says 10W40. Let's get that cap off and see what's in there for oil. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that's straight, pretty much black oil. Ooh, it smells like gas too. This is just really, really old oil. Kind of smelled like gas. Yeah, she's definitely filled up all the way. I'm guessing that takes a lot of oil to fill this thing up. Looks like we're probably gonna have to do an oil change. Let's get some of these plastics out of the way. for forward and reverse. Just triggers basically a button. I don't think it locks into place either. Alright, well there's the coil. Let's see if all the wires are hooked up properly there. Yeah, it looks like it. Doesn't look too bad. And the spark plug's gonna be right in there. So we can try to get that out. See if it's loose in there. No, it's tight. That's a good sign. Take a look at the boot first, see if that's making contact with wire. Alright. Yeah, no wire exposed at all there. Cut that back about a 1/4 inch. There's the wire. Little WD-40. Slide that boot back on. There we go. Alright. I don't think it's stripped out. Is it? Better not be. There it comes. Ooh, it's pretty black. Carboned up pretty good. Yeah, we gotta take a peek in that cylinder, see what's going on. But that's what the plug looks like. Running an NGK DR7EA plug. Alright, turn this on. Here's our little camera going in. Alright, going in here. Let's see what we see. Actually, doesn't look that bad, does it? Oh man. Cylinder wall looks good. Piston looks pretty decent. From what I can see, it's hard to get in there. Look at that. Let's try to rotate the engine over a little bit. See if we can get that to go down. There, I think it went down a little further. I don't see any holes in the piston. No scratches on the cylinder wall. Well, that actually checks out. Alright, coming back by the battery. Just making sure everything's connected back here. Got your CDI here. Just completely packed full of dirt. You've got your relay here. You guys can see that or not, I don't know. It's like a little black box. You've got your regulator there. So let's see if that battery has any voltage going to it. We've got our voltmeter. I'm curious to see if there's any charge on the battery. Nothing at all? Not a single volt. So battery is junk. What we're gonna do, just let this battery dangle, and then we're gonna hook up jumpers to both ends of that. Alright, positive. Go to this one over here. Negative going over to here. Looks like that's going to ground. Alright, flip the switch. Jumper pack's live. Let's see. Nothing. Nothing at all. That's not good. I'm getting nothing. Maybe we're not getting good ground. Oh, got something. Something lit up here. Reverse light. Check that out. All right, so we're getting power to something. Let's see. There's neutral. I don't know how that equates to neutral when we're in forward. Oh, it says we're in third gear now. What the heck? Does the start button work? Oh yeah. That is awesome. Lights work? Let's see. If we turn the key on all the way. Wow, the lights even work. Both lights work. No way. Tail light? Nope. Tail light does not work. I cannot believe all the lights work. That's amazing. Is choke working? Yeah, that's pulling in and out. Wow. And electric start works. I feel like we're getting really lucky here. Everything's working. There's no way. All right, what happens when we shift gears? So the shift control goes back to the transmission back here. That looks like that's barely on there. And then down there, yeah, that's like falling off. Look at that. That's barely on there. That's not even connected. So let's see. That's for, what is this for? It looks like, so normal riding is out. Heavy loads, loose surface, rough terrain, super low. So that's super low if you go that way. And that's normal. It is doing it. It's not really locking in back there. But we'll keep it there for now. At least that does work. Let's see if it shifts on the dash here. It did shift into gear. It doesn't sound good, but it should be shifting through the gears here. It's not working. So something with the transmission, I'm guessing. We'll worry about that in a little bit. The first goal is to get this engine running. So let's go see if we have spark on this thing. All right, let's see if we have spark here. I highly doubt it, but it'd be awesome if we did. All right, turn this on. There we go. We actually have spark. Pretty good spark too. Wow. Engine actually doesn't sound half bad turning over either. I cannot believe that. All right, well, that's good. We have a good spark. Let's check compression. According to the manual, we want to see about 160 to 190 PSI. So hopefully we have that. If not, we're gonna have to adjust the valves. See if those are within spec. All right, that went in. Carb is off of it, so we can't do throttle open. All right, let's see what we get. We're looking for above 150. There we go. 3, 2, 1. That's pretty darn good. 1, 50, 60, 70, 180 psi. So we are perfect for compression. So we're gonna quick check the valves. I think they're probably fine, but we'll just quick check them. So these are the valve caps here. This is the exhaust valve cap, and the intake valve cap is right here. So we can get both those off. You know, so far this engine's pretty easy to work on. Oh, that's on there. There we go. See if oil comes out of it too. Yep, lots of oil pouring out. That's a good sign, so it's getting oil. Alright, let's get the top dead center. And just by listening, those sound good. Both are opening, the intake and the exhaust. Let's check this out. Clearly there's good space between the rocker and the valve there. So that valve is not tight at all. And then the exhaust is right down here. You can hear that one too. So those clearances sound pretty good. So both the intake and the exhaust feel good. They both seem like they have about the same amount of clearance. And for this particular machine, you want 5 to 7 thousandths of play for both the intake and the exhaust. Let's quick check them since we're in here already. We'll set them to 6 here. See what we are at. Just slides in for the intake. Quick do the exhaust. I'm sure it will be fine. Just slides in for the exhaust. So valves check out. So those all look good. And I kind of suspected they'd be fine because the compression was so high. Well, we have good spark, good compression. Next is fuel. So here's the carb. Let's get that boot off there. Looks like a mouse got in the carb. It's all packed full. The boot going to the air box is damaged, ripped. That's basically junk. All right, gas line, the seller said was new last year. Looks like it's all dry rotted already. That was pretty fast. So we'll get the gas line off. Yeah, there's no way that gas line was new last year. Oh, it's already... Look at that. Let's see if the slide's working. Yeah. See if that diaphragm is still good in there. So we gotta get the choke out here. And their throttle cable out. There we go, throttle cable's off. Kind of buried in here. Choke is stuck in there. Douse that. I'm gonna take a pick and kind of go through there and see if we can get that choke out. You don't want to pull it out, it'll break that cable. Just kind of work that WD-40 down in there. Oh boy. Alright, we finally got it out. What we did was take a screwdriver, push down further, and it actually moved like a millimeter. And I kept on doing that, pulling it up, pushing it down, pulling it up, and it finally gave free and came out. But it was really corroded in there and gunked up. So at least we got that out without breaking the cable or the choke, because this thing needs the choke to start. So let's start looking into the carb. See what's going on with that. The other side was leaking gas pretty badly. Alright, we're hoping the carb is salvageable. That screw is stripped out. This one's not. I'm guessing you tried to take the carb apart on the machine, stripped up the screw, and then just kind of gave up on it. Because the carb was off of it when I bought it. Yeah, that one's stripped out too. Alright, so what we're gonna do, take a Dremel, cut a little slot in the screw for a flathead. You don't want to go too far. That should be good for that one. And this one. That should be good enough. There we go. Looks like on the inside. Not too bad. Really not bad at all. Couple little pieces in there. Nothing too serious. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright. Yeah, float is stuck. Needle is stuck. Let's try to get that out. Oh boy. It's coming. There we go. Doesn't want to come. There we go. Finally, let's take out that float here. There's the needle. That feels okay. Float looks good. It's not damaged at all. Alright. Let's take out that main jet. Nope, that was clear. But there's gunk in there. There's a tiny little pilot way down in there. I think we got her. There we go. See, we're running for a pilot here. 45 for the pilot. And that is definitely clogged. This should have a fuel screw somewhere on here. Yep, here. See how many turns out. We are 1, 2, exactly 2. A washer and an O-ring. That looks like that. O-ring's still in there. Can replace. Yeah, it's all hardened up. It's gonna be the seat. So underneath here, there's gonna be an O-ring. Don't want to strip that out. There we go. So this could be why it was leaking. Pull that out. Yeah. Doesn't look absolutely horrible, but it is hardened up big time. So let me show you guys that. Just breaking apart. It's all dry rotted, see that? It's all hardened up. Oh, these are stripped out too. Shoot. This one's not. See if we can cut a couple slits in the screws. Oh man, that one's stuck on there pretty good. Alright, so far it's not looking ripped. Try not to rip it. There we go. Spring coming out. Get this needle out. Alright, everything looks good. Let's take a close look at the diaphragm here. Looking for any pinholes, cracks, tears. It looks pretty darn good. Well, we're getting really lucky with this one. I can tell you that right now. Look at that. Well, carb doesn't look horrible. We're gonna let that sit in the ultrasonic cleaner and come back when that's all cleaned out. I think I need a bigger ultrasonic cleaner here. Alright, we let the carb sit for about 30 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner. That's all it needed. Looks pretty much brand new. Looking good. Went and blew through all the passageways. Here's the bowl. And then all the jets are clean. And let the diaphragm sit there for about 30 minutes as well. That really softened up. Alright, just installed the new O-ring for the seat. We can get that pressed in. There. Nice tight fit in there. That shouldn't leak anymore. And then we got a new O-ring for the fuel screw as well. Got that on the end of there. Alright, carb is finally done. Looking good. Slides moving up and down. So we can reinstall that. Everything is perfect on there now. So that shouldn't leak at all. Alright, we got the choke cleaned up here. Get that back on there. Get that screwed back in. hoping that boot doesn't have any rips in it. Didn't look like it was going through at all, so we'll see. All right, carb is all on, looking good. Let's move on. All right, gas tank didn't look bad on the inside, but the gas is probably really old. So we've got this siphon a subscriber sent me. I'm gonna try that out. So that works. You know what? It doesn't fit in the tank. Well, that's a bummer. Gas tank is too small for it. We're going to use the other siphon we have, and then we'll use that siphon to siphon the gas back in the tank. See if that works. All right, new gas line going on. So it's coming from the petcock here. And going back to here, the carb. And we're gonna put a filter in there as well. Parts of the tank that are a bit rougher. So we should be getting gas to the carb now without any pieces of the gas tank or the hose going into the carb. All right, let's get some gas in the gas tank. We're gonna try to use the siphon for this, see if it works. That siphon's pretty cool. Obviously we could just dump gas, but I wanted to test that out. So that'll come in handy for sure. All right, we've got gas in here. Let's see if it works here. Anything going down the filter? Oh yeah, look at that. All right, let's see if it leaks out of the carb. So far, nothing leaking. Cool. Alright, I think we're going to be good to go. Well, I think we're ready to attempt to fire this thing up. We have spark, we have compression, and now we're getting fuel to the carb. So we're going to get the plug back in and give it a shot here. Hopefully she fires. All right, here we go, moment of truth. Choke it. seems like we're really low compression, even though I know it's not. Let's take out the plug and check if we're getting sparks still. Weird, doesn't want to go. Oh no, I had my battery on 24 volts, not 12 volts. I really hope I didn't wreck the whole thing. Let's turn it to 12 volts and see what happens. Wow. Oh, thank God. Huh. Can't believe it didn't fry anything. That's why it was spinning so fast. I was like, is it low compression? No, we had 24 volts going to it. Jeez. Well, good thing I didn't do that for too long. Huh. It's running good. It was. All right, let's adjust the idle. There we go, she's idling pretty good now. I don't see any smoke out of this thing either. Wow. Are we lucking out or what? Lost power. Yeah, no knocking from the top end. Bottom end sounds good, no rod knock. Not too bad. Nice and quiet. Wow. And I put it in the gear and it seems like reverse is working and at least first gear is working. So, not too bad at all. Not a single puff of smoke out of there. Wow. Idle's nice and low. Looks like it's burning off all this dirt on here. Man, I'm pretty impressed with it so far. And then we are going to do an oil change on it. That oil looked pretty thin. Check this out. right back down to idle. Huh. $300 machine. All right, we've got this thing jacked up. Let's go look for the oil drain plug. Let's see. It's gonna be right there. 17 millimeter. Right there is the main one. The secondary one is gonna be right through there. This hole here. That's gonna be a 14 mil. Let's get underneath here. Get the first plug out. This bolt was all bent. Look at that. What the heck happened there? Yeah, somebody welded a nut to the bolt at one point. Must have been stripped out. That was 14. Wasn't a whole lot in there. But that one wasn't stripped out. Well, good thing we're changing this out. It is straight black. Not seeing any chunks in there though, so that's good. All right, adding 3 quarts of 10W40. That's what it calls for. So that's what we're gonna add. All right. I think it deserves fresh oil. After it's probably been sitting for years and years and years. This old machine's been abused pretty badly. The least we can do for it is give it some new oil. Or 2. I'm sure it needs one of those. But I want to see if it moves first here. I know first gear works, but do the other gears. This so we can see where the level's at on the window. Yeah, nothing in the window yet. Alright, we'll add that last quart. And we are perfect. Alright, we're getting closer to the first ride. Let's repair the broken plastic here. You can see the crack. I just pushed that back up. Now we're going to take our plastic welder and put some staples in through the backside to hold that in place. That gets red hot. Alright, that one's looking a little bit better. And guys, this is a $300 machine. I'm not taking the time to grind off all that rust and then paint it. It's not worth my time. Just making this look a little bit more presentable here. All right, the rear brake looks like it's past the point of no return. That is completely stuck. So let's work on the front brake. That one actually looks like it has a semi-new master cylinder. Let's see if we can get that to bleed. Yeah, no brake fluid in there at all. I'm guessing it probably leaks for the calipers. Let's see. That would be great if it bled itself. I don't think it's going to. This little bleed nipple. This is really loose. Let's see. I think we took that off and tighten up that nut a little bit. I think we'd be in good shape. Yeah, that's better. I think this is going to be a no-go for any brakes here. Oh, there we go. Something's coming out. It's bleeding. I cannot believe it is. So that's no brake, brake on. It's grabbing a little bit. I think if we do the other side, it'd be a little bit better. All right, let's see how bad this one is. Yeah, I think those bolts just need to be tightened up. Ooh, that one might break off. I don't like the feeling of that one. I don't want to break it off. Oh, I think I just did. I just broke that off. Shoot. Looks like we're not going to be bleeding that one. Ugh. Well, at least we fixed the wheel wobble in the front. Those are a lot better now. Still pretty squishy. I think air's coming up back through the master cylinder, but we have a little bit. See that? It gets tight right there. So you just have to really grab the brake to make that work. So I think we have pretty much everything we need for the first ride. The last thing is the battery. Let's get that out and install a new one. Let's see if it cranks over here. There we go. All right, she's all ready for the first ride. Let's see if this thing moves here. Running pretty darn good for 300 bucks. Not too bad. Alright, so this thing's running perfect. I think the 4x4 lever was supposed to be right here, because that goes down to the front diff there. So I'm guessing that's how you connect it in the 4x4. Yeah, the lever right here. So we're missing the lever. Otherwise, I think 4x4 would work. But that's the only thing that's not working. Everything else is working perfect. So let's go get this thing cleaned up. Alright, this one cleaned up pretty good actually. Looks a lot better. Well, for a $300 machine, I gotta say, this one turned out pretty darn good. We got really lucky on it. So, I don't know if the guy was telling the truth, or he was just lying and somehow told the truth while lying. I'm not sure. But we got this one running good today. I cannot believe it. So we're going to order up a 4x4 lever for it. It looks like it's just missing the lever. And then we're going to order up a seat cover for it. And this one should be good. This is just a beater four-wheeler. And we'll probably just use it at one of the lands we have. And just kind of keep it there underneath the tarp. So when we need it, we have it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed picking this thing up for 300 bucks. Diagnosing it, going through the whole thing, doing the first start, and then the first ride. I don't think this thing's ran since 08. So, what is that? 17 years? So, I think this is the first start in 17 years on this thing. I really don't think the guy that owned this before ever had this thing running before. The carb was pretty rough. The gas line that he said he replaced was really bad, all dry rotted. It hasn't ran in a long time. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. A couple more things to do to it, and this thing will be a good, reliable machine. And yeah, I'm pretty happy we picked it up for 300 bucks. Definitely worth putting the time into. It's a very strong running machine for a crappy Arctic 300. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.